What's up, YouTube? Devin Henderson here. With today's topic, we're going to discuss some quick tips for buyers to use to submit a compelling offer. Obviously, this market is very competitive and usually seller favorable, finding yourself in multiple offer situations. So as a buyer, you need to be as well advised as possible. And when it comes to submitting your offer, there's a handful of things that you can do to separate yourself. More money down, shorter inspection periods, shorter closing date, the terms of the offer. It's not always about the purchase price. Obviously, an attractive purchase price needs to be considered. Your agent can, of course, help you come up with a fair purchase price that is reflective of the market value. So, take your agent's advice on that. And then listen to, what is it typical, the deposit. In my market, typical deposits are about 10% of the purchase price. So if you're buying $1 million property, you typically have about $100,000 in deposits. Those deposits, of course, are just deposits towards your purchase price. The seller never actually touches those deposits, but they're there sort of like, good faith and my intent to proceed with this sale. And it just shows that obviously you have those funds liquid to put towards the purchase. And they're usually broken up into two deposits. So again, with the scenario, $1 million purchase, and you're putting $100,000 down in deposits, you would put, forgive me, that's my radar, you would put down maybe $20,000 as the initial deposit. You would do your 5 or 7 day inspection period. If all the inspections are good, the day after your inspection period, you'd make your second deposit. In this case, the amount would be $80,000. You've got a total of $100,000 in deposits, and then the rest of the money is paid at closing. So, and that's another thing. I do recommend short inspection periods. That's obviously attractive to most sellers. You're not taking their home off the market for 2 or 3 weeks. You can have all your home inspections done within 5 or 7 days. If not, then, I have plenty of inspectors that can get that done. I assure you there's plenty that can. And the closing date, always ask the seller, what closing date is best for you? You might assume that the quick closing is best, and in most cases it is, but have that conversation with the seller. Let me ask, what's the best closing date for you? You might find that separates you from, a multiple offer situation. Like, hey, you agreed to this closing date. That's exactly when I want to close. So that can work really well for a buyer. Just being well informed and asking the seller what it is that they want. And let's see, closing date, deposit, the inspection period, and financing. This is a good one. If you're using financing, waive either the financing contingency or the appraisal contingency. Now, I wouldn't advise this in all cases, but if it's something that is feasible and doable and it makes sense in this particular situation, I can assure you, by doing so, you are going to compete with cash offers. So still use your financing. For instance, you could still have the financing contingency, but waive the appraisal contingency aspect, meaning if it's $1 million purchase and I'm going to get a loan, let's say it appraises back at $980 though. As the buyer in the contract, I'm going to agree to cover that difference. So, hey, Mr. Seller, I agree to pay $1 million, but I'm going to use financing. If for some reason it appraises for less than $1 million, I'm going to cover the difference, and that's going to bring the seller peace of mind. That's going to make them feel very comfortable, like, wow, that is just as attractive as cash, because that's really the only difference between a cash or finance deal is that appraisal contingency in most cases. So these are just some quick tips. I hope this video is helpful. There's many other tricks and tips that can be used, but these are 4 or 5 I think that are very helpful and very underused a lot of the times in this market. So take advantage of some of these tips. If you have any other questions, please, as always, subscribe to my YouTube channel, reach out for any additional content or questions that you might need help with, and I'll be there to answer. Thanks again. Signing off.